My husband just told me he had a stupid ass realization. He said that having his daughter made him realize that girls are more than objects.
What the hell? If this man have always thought of women and girls as objects until he had his daughter, so what has she been all this time? What has she been doing the whole duration of their marriage, during the whole duration of their relationship when they were dating? In fact, what has his mother been? His sisters, were they objects to him? Because if he had seen all the women in his life even before he met her as objects, he obviously sees her as the object too. So it had to take this woman's husband to have a daughter of his own to realize that, oh, women are people too. Women are individuals. They are not just objects. They are not inanimate objects. They are people. Let's get right into the video.
So that woman that posted about her husband realizing that women aren't objects after they had their daughter. I fear for the day that daughter hits puberty. I think this woman should be extremely concerned. In fact, feel it's some kind of stab of betrayal that her husband, in fact, saw her as an object for their entire dating married life. Oh, until they had a daughter. And I bet $10 that it's not even that he stopped objectifying women. It's more like he doesn't want his daughter to get objectified, so he'll just like compartmentalize that and then go on and still treat women or think of women as objects. I feel so sorry for the daughter to have a father like that. And this is, in fact, when she is an infant. What is going to happen when she becomes a teenager? God forbid, and act like a real woman. How is that father going to treat a pubescent girl or a full-grown woman as his daughter? I don't have good faith. And frankly, I don't know why this woman is posting that. If she's just, I don't know, unable to deal with the criticism, the backlash that happens when something so outrageous is said. It's horrible and awful. And yet, I fear that it is a common experience for some men. That they themselves are so awful, their worst fear is to have a daughter, and that daughter be treated the same way that they have treated women.
And that's another thing that we are not looking at, because this woman is out here making it look as if it's all fun and willy-nilly. Oh, my husband is so dumb. He said something stupid. He's just a dumb man, dumb nonsense. This man is not dumb. This man is not looking at this matter critically. What this man said, she thinks that, oh, now he has changed because he now has a daughter and he have not seen the light. This man have not seen the light. Given the opportunity, he's going to treat his daughter as an object too. He's going to start seeing his daughter as an object also. Right now, he sees her as a human being because she's vulnerable, she's his offspring. And from observing her videos, I noticed that this daughter of his is their first daughter. So he's like in his emotions right now. Give it some time. Or God forbid, let something happen to this woman and then the man needs like somebody to be a home appliance, somebody to be taking care of the home, cooking, cleaning, and he doesn't get married on time. He is going to turn his daughter right into that home appliance. He's going to have his daughter doing the cooking, the cleaning, everything, because I have seen this thing happen to my friends when maybe their mother leave their father, or maybe their mother passed away, and then their father does not have a mother to step in to take care of the children, and that man could not get married again. They turn their daughters into their wives and they start objectifying their daughters. They don't objectify their daughters sexually per se, but they start objectifying her in the sense that they start seeing her as a wife appliance. They start expecting her to do certain duties that are normally expected of a wife in the traditional sense. They start expecting this daughter of theirs to cook, to clean, to take care of even her younger siblings. They start seeing her not as a child, not as their daughter, but as an object to get what they want, to get free labor out of her, the way that they would have exploited the mother of the child out of free labor also. So her thinking, maybe now she's feeling that, oh, now he has seen the light. This man have not seen the light. He just have you to objectify. Maybe not even sexually, because I don't see why some people were thinking of it in a sexual sense. It's not a sexual issue entirely. It's also an issue of these men seeing women as appliances, as aiding tools to help them run their life easily, to help them cook, to clean, to provide free labor for them. They do not see women as humans. And if this man think that that is not going to extend to her daughter right now, give it some time and it will extend to her also.
Daughter made him realize that girls are more than objects.
I'm sorry, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we not having these conversations with our partners before we marry them? Let alone breed with them? Why do you not know where your husband stands on these things before you get pregnant by him? And I'm not saying that like a man can't change or a person can't change throughout the course of a marriage, but like, what are we doing? I know where my partner stands on everything. And I know it for a fact because we were friends for 4 years before we got together, and we've been together for 3. I know that man like the back of my hand. Having a daughter made him realize that women aren't objects. Girl, what do you think you've been to him? Your whole marriage, your whole relationship. I was really expecting this to be like a rage bait thing, and so I went onto her account like expecting just like rage bait content, and it's fucking not. Like she's just like a mom. We have to have these conversations with our partners before we marry them, before we breed with them. Why is that not like standard? I feel like this is common sense, but apparently fucking not. And like, I'm not trying to like victim blame, like, cause I do kind of view this lady as a victim. It's like I said, I know that people can change over the course of a relationship or over the course of a marriage, but that's just not really the vibe of this particular situation. Maybe I'm misreading it, I don't know, but like, guys, this should be a deal breaker for anybody with common fucking sense. It would be over. If your partner says some shit like this to you, please reevaluate things.
I don't really think what she said is victim blaming per se, because personally I feel that the main reasons why a person will not know that their partner holds certain views, especially such extreme views as this, not seeing women and girls as people but seeing us as objects instead, it could be one of 3 reasons. One being that the man is a big manipulator, a liar, a chameleon, and he was undercover all through their dating, their engagement, and even the early stages of their marriage. And he was just like, he was a chameleon, and he was like hiding himself until he felt she was trapped. And after he now knows that, oh, she has a baby by him, he now started showing her his true colors and expressing his real views. That could be the first reason why that is the case. The second reason being that she just didn't want to see it. The red flags were there, but she did not want to see it. There are some people like that either they are blinded by love, they have their rose tinted glasses on, and they just don't want to see it, or in some situations, if they are desperate to get married, I've seen it in a lot of women, particularly in women that are a bit older, when they are desperate to get married and they just want to tick the Mrs. box to be like, oh, I'm a Mrs. They don't really look that deeply into things, into a man. So they just rush to it and get married. And then the final reason, the third reason why that could be the case where you miss such a big red flag is that, let's be honest, a lot of women have internalized misogyny. Misogyny is not a male only sport. Women are having their field day playing in it also. So a lot of women are raised to see not just other women but also themselves as objects, yes. And they don't see it as a bad thing. Like, I knew somebody back in school who would be like, oh, if your partner do not see you as an object, it is not attracted to you. So your partner should see you as a sexual object. And I have also seen women who believe that it is okay for men to see women as sexual objects. They think it is a natural thing, and that if a man does not see a woman as a sexual object, it is actually unnatural of the man. And some women even think that it may be gay of the man. and that a man seeing women as sexual objects is the right way. I've even seen women who encourage it in their young sons, for their young sons to start objectifying young girls and women. So in such cases, it would not be surprising if such a woman will grow up, meet a man, and then ignore all the red flags and just be like, oh, I'm in love, I want to get married, and get married, have children with him. And then they are now trying to act surprised that that man sees all women as objects until they have their daughter.
Me and my wife have had that conversation. If I had a daughter, I'm not changing diapers.
A lot of men say that having a daughter made them respect women without realizing that's the first time they seen a vagina that they couldn't objectify. So let that sink in. You've spent your whole life chasing pleasure from a body point without caring about the whole human that lives in that body. We've made a woman's worth match how much we're attracted to her or not, because sometimes we think the only way we can have access to a woman's body is by pretending to respect her. But here's the truth. You can say you like women, but say you hate their voices, their opinion, their interests, their goals, and their power. And you know why? Because none of those things exist to please you. We are taught to see woman not as a full person, but as a thing. Things that exist for our fun, for our control, and our satisfaction. Things that exist for your fun, for your satisfaction, and your control. And if you never question that, if you never unpack all that before you have a daughter, then guess what? Having her will force you into one of three choices. First, you might finally wake up. You might see that she deserves the same things that you do: respect, opportunity, and safety. But to give that to her, the whole world would have to change for women. Second, you might just add her to your list of exceptions. You protect her, but not out of love for women, but because she's yours. And that's not respect, that is ownership. Or third, you might check out completely to avoid hard things. You act like it's too different. You say you can't change her diaper, you can't talk about her body, because it makes you uncomfortable. But if you spent your whole life worshiping a woman's body, how do you know so little when it's not about sex? Your daughter's body isn't confusing, it's just new to you, because you've never had to understand it, only use it. And the truth is, your daughter is probably the first woman you've ever respected without needing anything in return. And you should ask yourself, why is that? Why did it take her for you to start caring? Because she doesn't need to be your first lesson in humanity. She deserves a world where you've already learned.
And this man just hits the nail on the head, because these men are not all of a sudden respecting women, all of a sudden seeing us as human beings, because they just discovered humanity and they are all of a sudden just seeing the light. No, these men are doing this thing because of control, because of ownership. They feel that their daughter is their own. No matter what, no matter how much a man is a woman, that hatred may pass on to their daughter, but no matter what, that daughter of theirs is still their king, is still the blood of their blood, is still their blood king. So they will still have that urge to protect their daughter. They will still have that ownership feeling over their daughter. So that is why these men all of a sudden feel like, oh, women aren't objects anymore when they have a daughter, or in some cases when they have a niece. But a very disturbing situation that I've seen that is surprisingly encouraged in my own society in Nigeria here is that some men all of a sudden feel that their own daughter, especially their biological daughter, is a human being and should be treated with love and respect and should not be objectified. But if that same man have another child, another female child under his roof, that man is going to objectify her sexually. Yes, let's get down to it. If that same man have a niece under his roof, he's going to objectify her sexually. And he will feel no guilt about it because he does not see her as his own. He sees her as another man's child. Or if that man have a stepdaughter, that's why it's very rampant. You see a lot of stepfathers abusing their stepdaughters. They do not see their stepdaughters as their own. They do not see their stepdaughters as their blood kin. So they feel it is okay to objectify their stepdaughters sexually. And because, let's be honest, these men are not doing what they are doing out of morality. They don't have a moral compass. So here's this daughter that they feel they can objectify sexually because that's not their blood kin. And these men do not have a moral compass. what do you think is going to be the outcome? That's why you see it is so rampant. You see these men abusing their relatives, abusing their distant relatives, no matter how young those relatives are, abusing their nieces and abusing their stepdaughters because they don't feel that ownership over them, because they feel that they are not their blood kin. And as disgustingly as it sounds, society knows about this, especially in my society, they know about it, and to some extent, they feel kind of okay about it because in a lot of the cases, we hear of stories that, oh, a father rapes his daughter, and in a lot of the time when I go to the comment section, I see in the comment section, oh, that must not be his biological daughter. The wife must have cheated. That daughter must have been like a daughter from another man. He must have done it to punish the wife for cheating, and the daughter is not his daughter. As if the daughter not being his biological daughter, all of a sudden makes it okay for him to rape or abuse his child. Because stepchildren are also children. That is your child, although it's your child in a non-biological way.
My husband just told me he had a stupid ass realization. He said that having his daughter made him realize that girls are more than objects.
I immediately went to her profile and started watching other videos, assuming that she was a rage bait creator or one of those people that put satire, and it's in their profile and it's not satire, they're just rage baiting. Imagine my surprise when I don't see other rage bait videos. I just see a mom talking about being postpartum and talking about surviving momhood, and she's not a rage bait account, and so therefore her husband actually said that to her. If I heard that, especially postpartum, about my daughter, from my husband, I know people think that us women yell divorce too quick, but there's good reason for divorce there. Because what do you mean you realize that women aren't objects? That means that when she was with him the entire time before their daughter arrived, he looked at her as an object. Dating her and marrying her didn't change his mind. It was the daughter. So he thinks of you as an object. So in my opinion, my humble opinion, that is grounds for divorce. And also incredibly terrifying.
I find it funny how so many people are calling for her to divorce her husband. They are saying divorce him, divorce him, divorce him. Because I know she's not going to do that. And to some extent, I understand why she is not going to divorce this man. The thing is that as women, we feel that there are few men who are unicorns. There are few men who are not misogynistic. So we feel that those unicorn men are safe options for you to get with. But the reality, the honest truth is that there is no man on this planet who is not misogynistic. Even women have internalized misogyny, let alone a man who benefits immensely from misogyny and the patriarchal system. The only thing that we as women, even the most woke of woke women and the most feminist of feminist women who still choose to be with men can do is that we will pick a man who is not so actively indulging or participating in that misogyny. We will pick a man who is not a active participant of misogyny and patriarchy. But that man could also be an inactive or subconscious participant of misogyny like this man is. This man probably does not go around abusing women, and he probably does not abuse her or her children also. But this man have misogynistic views in his head subconsciously, and he would subconsciously act on those misogynistic views. These are the kind of men you see telling you, oh, a woman should be submissive to her husband. And these men themselves feel that they are not the problem. They feel that, oh, I'm not going around abusing women, I'm not going around raping women, I'm not going around assaulting women, so I'm not a problem. In fact, some of them may even see themselves as feminists. Yes, I've seen one of such men. He sees himself as a feminist, but this man have obvious misogynistic views about women. But men like this feel that they are the exception. Yes, they feel that since they are not the one actively participating in misogyny, that they are the exception. But the truth is that they play a part in keeping the old patriarchal structure in place. They play a part, no matter how inactive that part is, in making sure that even the most gravest of grave misogynistic views and actions are upheld. These men may not grape women, but the same views that make them feel that their wives or partners need to submit to them, that make them feel as if their partners are objects for their own gratification and for their own utility, is also the same reason and view driving a rapist to grape a woman. Yes, that rapist also feel that that woman is meant for him, that that woman is created for him, that that woman is created for his own pleasure, his own utilization. So how dare she deny him of what is due, what is entitled to? So whether that man and his wife feel that he is actively or inactively participating in misogyny, it doesn't matter. He is a participant in misogyny. And this man's husband and men like him form a, although inactive, but also a very integral part in upholding the structure of patriarchy, in upholding the structure of misogyny, and in oppressing women in the long run. Thanks for staying to the end of the video. Remember to give it a thumbs up if you found it interesting, and also subscribe to the channel to support me. Also, don't forget to check out the videos in the playlist right here. Bye.